Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. Welcome to episode 144 of the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. And if you are a new listener, then welcome. And if you are a returning listener, then welcome back. And as always, if you are an online business coach, entrepreneur, network marketer, new or old to your profession, and you are still building your business through the means of Facebook and Instagram, and you are not yet leveraging and harnessing the power and potential of LinkedIn, then head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net, where you can fill out a free 15-minute discovery call form with me, where we can hop on the phone. I can learn more about you, your business, what you're struggling with, and how we could potentially work together. So, totally stoked for today's episode. This is an amazing human being that I met a few months back. I was giving a keynote at a high level, elite level mastermind. And we just kind of really connected on a bunch of different levels, obviously being entrepreneurs, but also my background being in health and wellness, her expertise being in wellness. It just made sense for us to do this episode. So the amazing human being that I have for you today, she is an online personal trainer, top tier. But she focuses on body recomposition. And this is something that's really important because I've shared my story many times. I had eating issues, when I was younger, but also when I stopped competing, those demons were still there. But obviously I've worked through all that. But she really specifically teaches people how to simplify their life, finding that balance between health, wellness, love, enjoyment, food, money, how everything kind of relates to each other. So with that, Tori Murphy, welcome to today's episode.
Thank you so much. And I think that was a better introduction than I could have done for myself. So thank you so much. So basically boiled down, I am an online personal trainer, and my superpower is really showing people and teaching them how a sustainable, healthy lifestyle can be really, really super simple. A lot of people have it in their heads that fat loss or simply achieving a healthy lifestyle has to be this super, super hard thing. Almost like if we're not working hard, either meal prepping or working out at high intensities, always chasing our soreness after workouts, if we're not killing ourselves, we don't feel like we're making progress. It's like we almost wear the busyness and the hard, the difficult as a badge of honor, and it just does not have to be that way. And if any of your listeners are like me, they've had a similar relationship with money. So I grew up with incredibly hardworking parents. My younger brother and I were in and out of daycare. We had nannies. My dad traveled. He was typically only home on the weekends. My mom worked long hours, and my parents did provide a comfortable living, and making good money had to be really difficult. So I grew up with this association that providing that comfortable living and having, flexibility in our finances had to be, sacrifice. It had to mean missing out on important social events. It meant exhaustion. And that's just the way things were. It was, as people call it, hard-earned money. And we look at dieting very much the same. Hard-earned weight loss, hard-earned muscle. And don't get me wrong, it definitely requires effort. There's absolutely a bit of effort required. Anything worth anything requires a little bit of work, but not running yourself into the ground. And if we think about the common dieter, what are they doing? They're spending 4 hours on Sunday putting meal prep into Tupperware. They are, as the term goes, cardio bunnies on the treadmill or the Stairmaster. They're eating rabbit food for lunch because Google told them that salads are healthy, or they're doing some extreme diet that requires massive restriction. And none of that is easy. And people think that that's just the route they have to go. And it just doesn't have to be that way. I so strongly believe in my core and know for a fact that sustainable can be very simple. And that's what I teach my clients. And people would be surprised how much fitness and specifically food mindset and money mindset have in common. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So I think there are three big commonalities between food mindset and money mindset. And the first is the existence of limiting beliefs. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you are someone who has opened up a different pathway into your life, you know about limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, things that create dichotomies in our life, these black and white, ideas founded on rather untrue principles. They actually end up being false things, false principles. And so often I hear this about food, and we hear it every single day. And once you actually open your mind up to it, you become almost hypersensitive to it, that you hear that certain foods are good or bad, clean, dirty, healthy, unhealthy, processed, unprocessed. And it's just this garbage. It is all garbage. And I love to challenge people on those qualifiers. Like, what makes this apple clean, Heather? Is it because you washed it? Like, why is it clean? And processing, that's another fun one. Most people don't reflect on a chicken, like grilling a chicken is technically processing it, or chopping up and blending up strawberries into a shake is actually processing it. Does that mean those foods are unhealthy? Well, no. The same goes for money. We were told, growing up or even now, money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money doesn't buy happiness. Money makes people greedy. But boiled down, calories are calories. Do I believe all calories are the same? No, because obviously you want to include micronutrients, fiber, etc. Those come into play. But in theory, you could lose weight eating only bagels and Skittles because of the law of energy balance. Losing weight that way, of course, would be rather suboptimal because you'd be missing out on a lot of vitamins, minerals, and fundamental pillars of a proper diet. But theoretically, you could lose weight that way. And these false associations and accusations around money is a fun one, because how do we build schools without money? How do we serve others and donate and be charitable if you're barely even breaking even yourself? I look at money as, when I have more, I can give more. And I agree with Chris Harder. He's talked on this before. I heard him a few months ago speak at an event that I was at. And he and other experts in money and business believe that giving is the secret to everything that we want. Right this second, do we really need more money than we already have? For most people, probably not. We can afford food, shelter, transportation, life necessities, but, it isn't harmful to want more, because you can contribute far more when you do have money, or at least have a good relationship with it. So that's that first commonality that I think is limiting beliefs. And those show up in our entire life, everywhere. And the second one is scarcity and abundance, which kind of goes in this kind of same vein. I've had my fair share of disordered eating in the past, and I know you have as well, Scott. We talked about that on my podcast. I think a lot of people have experienced some form of disordered eating, or just some form of, struggling with their relationship with food. And I think the industry is largely to blame for that. But when I was in college, I put on an extra 20 pounds that I wasn't expecting. I think that's very common, the freshman 15. It was the freshman 20 for me. And what do we all do when we start to pack on unwanted weight? We start restricting. We start taking things away, saying no to things that we actually want. Oh, no wine for me, I'm on a diet. Just a salad for me, I'm getting back into shape, right? We know how it goes. You purge the pantry of all the junk food, you swear off the social life for however long. And doesn't this sound all too familiar when we're trying to pinch our budgets? Like, we've been overspending. I can't go to that concert now. It's too expensive. No eating out for a whole month. I need to cook at home. I need to pack my lunch. I want to hang out with you guys, but I'm broke as a joke right now. Can we do something free that doesn't cost money? And this is operating through a scarcity mindset. There's not enough of something. There's not enough calories for you to enjoy the foods you want. There's not enough money for you to enjoy the quality of life you want. With this idea of there's one pie and you can only have so much of it. And this is all a lie. It's all a fat lie. And you only have to do one thing to go from scarcity to abundance, and that is to educate yourself. I think that's actually the key to everything, is just to educate yourself, become literate. Like, it really is that simple. Okay, so you want to lose a few pounds, that's actually so easy. Like, it seriously is. If you know what to do and the easiest way to do it, yes, you can have wine every night and still lose weight. You can have bread with dinner and still lose weight. What I hear all the time is, I know what I need to do, I just need to do it. And it's like, no, you don't know exactly what you need to do, because if you did and it was easy, you would be doing it instead of having the same New Year's resolution every single year. I'm a little tough love, but I think you are too, a little bit. Are you?
Yeah, I mean,
But
I believe, tough love is sometimes needed, but I think, it's what frustrated me most when I was personal training is, I did nutritional coaching, and it's not hard. Everybody knows what foods are good for you. Everyone knows what foods are bad for you, but yet people still make those choices consciously and then self-sabotage and then beat themselves up, and then they wonder why they're not looking and feeling the way that they want to. And I always said this to my clients, and this goes back to the 22 years ago when I started in this industry. Healthy is a choice. No one is holding a gun to your head saying that you have to put bad things into it. No one is saying that you have to have all the dessert in the world. No one is saying that you have to, go to fast food. There are People think that it costs a lot of money to eat healthy. It's not necessarily true, because there are ways to eat very well and it's not going to break the bank. But if you think about it, the cost of eating poorly is actually going to cost you more in the end, because that's when more health issues come up. So, health insurance and all of those things, you're actually setting yourself up for failure later on down the road. You may not be feeling or experiencing that now, but the longer that you stay in that wheelhouse of not treating your body the way that it should, it affects everything. And what you put into your body is the way that it's going to look on the outside. So if you're putting crap in, you're going to feel and look crappy on the outside, as opposed to putting the good stuff in, you're going to look good and healthy on the outside. And just like you said, a lot can change in 12 months. If someone was to dedicate themselves to eating healthy for a full year, working out, 2 to 4 times a week religiously, whether it's with a trainer or just by themselves, 12 months from now, you will look radically and feel radically different. But again, it comes down to it being a choice.
absolutely. And I think instant gratification certainly falls in that same realm as well, because people, expect, like, oh, well, I've eaten healthy for a month, I've been working out for a month, like I should be so much further along than where I am right now. And so they don't accept that this is a long-term thing. This is the long game. And they expect this really short return on investment, and they end up giving up because they expect too much, and they, give 110% for a short amount of time, not knowing that there isn't actually a finish line, which is something I'll touch on here in a minute. And money is very much the same way. It's, people think, oh, we've overspent. Well, no one asks, how can I create more money instead of taking things away? Our first instinct is to restrict and take things out, because that's how we save. And most people don't know how to create more money. And all you have to do is learn how to do it. I'll give two ideas. One being negotiation. You can negotiate almost everything if you have the script, the confidence, and the know-how. You can negotiate down your credit card APR. I just did that. You can negotiate Airbnbs, your online subscriptions. There's tons of things that you can negotiate down, especially if you've been, a good consumer, because people are way more open to making a deal than just, this is it, this is the price, this is the rule, and you're stuck with it. The second one is resourcefulness. Technology has opened up such an avenue for us to utilize things like apps that you can simply scan your grocery store receipts and get money back every single month. There are browser extensions that automatically try existing discount codes when you're trying to purchase a product. And there are apps that tell you, the best time to purchase a plane ticket. And fun fact, I actually have a second superpower in finding cheap flights. In March, I flew to Europe for $300 round trip, but it only happens if people open their minds to it and actually look for those opportunities. Instead, we have this tunnel vision of, this is how it is. This is just the way things are. And it definitely takes a little bit of time and effort to challenge that, but the return is so, so huge. And the last commonality between food mindset and money mindset is how you talk to it and about it matters. How you talk to food and money and how you talk about food and money matters. So if we examine that, commonly we hear what you put out into the universe comes true. What you speak out loud, depicts your fate. And not in a woo-woo, destiny's calling kind of way, but in a sense that what you say out loud affects your subconscious and makes you recognize or miss opportunities and causes you to make different choices. So what you say out loud creates a filter and puts up blinders that affects your future. So if you're bashing money, if you're bashing food, if you are talking really negatively about those things, neither of them are going to show up positively in your life. The golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. And that goes for food and money and other inanimate objects. It's like saying I'm broke never made anyone rich. And people say,
well, it's really
go
interesting.
ahead. Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but it's really interesting because the one thing that I've noticed is with any high performer, with any big thinker, with any impactor, you notice a couple different things. Number one, they practice mindfulness. So whether it's meditation or journaling or gratitude. Number two, they really focus on their money mindset. Giving more to get more back, keeping the law of reciprocation flowing. And number three, they are, I don't want to say health fanatics, but their personal health, their mental health, their physical health is paramount. They are very diligent about getting enough sleep, about blocking off time in the morning for their routine, getting to the gym, eating healthy. And you see those three commonalities. And if people are following certain people on social media, or you have a business coach, or you're in a mastermind, chances are you're going to notice a lot of fit, healthy people, because the top performers, the high performers, are the ones that really know that the greatest value they have is how they take care of themselves, because you can't be serving others if you don't serve yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. I so believe, health is wealth. That's one of my mantras in life. Health is wealth. If you don't have it, what do you really have? And you made a good point at the retreat several months ago that, your health is your greatest investment. If you're going to invest in anything, that is the thing that you should be investing. And I actually, it's so interesting. I ran a poll a long time ago with my audience just on Instagram, something really really easy. And I asked them how much money they invested in their health on a monthly basis. And almost everyone put down less than $100. And if I think about, and I actually reached out to a few of those people and I asked them, what things do you put your money towards? And it was like, oh, well, I have utilities, I pay for Netflix and Spotify and, the FabFitFun boxes. And so they're putting their time and energy and money into things that aren't actually contributing to their health. And I thought that was so interesting. And what's even more interesting is that my gym membership is actually cheaper than my Netflix subscription. Like, how wild is that? Yeah. So
What's the biggest
it's crazy. And
what's the biggest lesson that you kind of learned through this whole thing? Because the journey through, and for me it's kind of interesting looking back, because I started off, I was just a personal trainer, I was just a gym owner, but network marketing gave me that personal development journey with the compensation plan attached to it. But I started to realize that when you really take care of yourself, and it's not about being obsessed with food or obsessed with working out. It's hard to explain, Tori, because when you eat really good, and I'm not saying I'm not clean. I have a glass of wine every night, and I do that for pleasure, but also it's good for my heart. I eat ice cream almost every single night, but it is dairy free because milk doesn't always agree with me. So I do treat myself because I've learned the balance of life. Because if I'm eating really clean and good and healthy every single day, a glass of wine is not going to affect my body. A little bit of dairy-free ice cream is not going to affect my body. I'm working out every single morning. So I've learned that when you can create those healthy habits within your life, within your body, within your mindset, the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything. So what was it about health and wellness that not only had you saying, you know what, this is how I want to live my life, but now this is something that I want to teach others?
Yes, I actually was thinking about this the other day, and the universe is so weird because I was actually thinking about, what's been my greatest lesson out of all of this. And I'd been active my whole life. I was an athlete in, high school and college. I played soccer. And it had always been a part of my life, but I don't think that that's a lesson. I think a lot of people in the health and wellness field, they've said, oh, it's been a part of my life for a long time. But it's like, okay, how how did it get that way? Why is it that way? And I think the biggest thing that I've learned from my own journey with disordered eating and my own journey with figuring out, I had a knee surgery. And so I actually can't play soccer anymore and I can't run anymore. Two of my vices in my life, they were my therapy. And I couldn't do those anymore after my knee surgery. And I think the summary of those experiences has taught me one thing, and that is self-discipline. And I think once you have that, and it's not motivation, a lot of people confuse motivation with self-discipline and vice versa, because people think it's motivation they're lacking when they're in, their own journey, and whatever journey it is. It doesn't have to be fitness. It can be in business, career, family. They just think that they are lacking motivation. And I've described in the past, motivation is a feeling. It's something that is intrinsic, but self-discipline shows up when motivation does not. And I think that's, and you probably have a similar experience with your past in competitions, but I think self-discipline is actually the biggest lesson that I've learned. And so many people say that they want a financially successful life, or they say they want a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. I hear this every single day. But what they really mean is they want the benefits and ease of having those things without the pain or effort or discipline required to create them. And that is why I think quick fixes and fad diets are so popular, because they're celebrated as being easy and effective, and neither is actually true. I lost 30 pounds in 90 days on Nutrisystem, or, when keto's still kind of a big thing right now, but people were losing 10 pounds really quickly, but it's because they didn't understand what was actually going on. And, money can be the same. If you've ever gambled, the feeling of placing a good bet and walking away with more money out of the casino than what you took in. And you think, wow, that was, so easy. 20 minutes of roulette just covered my car payment and my phone bill. But how many times do we actually end up getting screwed over when we go and gamble? Quick fixes never, ever pay off. You chase the carrot and you maybe get immediate gratification, but it's like we said before, there's no long-term ROI, return on investment. And then we find ourselves in a cycle of looking for the next easy thing and becoming victim to constantly starting over. And it's like touching on what I said before, it's constantly chasing the finish line. And the hard truth is there is no finish line. You don't get $1 million and you're set for life anymore. And you don't lose 20 pounds and call it good and revert back to the lifestyle you were previously carrying out, because that's how you gain the 20 pounds in the first place. And people are afraid of constant work and change because it requires that self-disciplinary piece, but it's called growing. And I saw actually a really awesome, it was just a comic. It was a one-picture comic. And it was a caterpillar and a butterfly sitting at lunch. And the caterpillar says to the butterfly, wow, you've changed. And the butterfly is sipping his coffee or whatever it is. And he goes, yeah, we're supposed to. And I just thought that was so powerful, actually.
No, it's so true. And people don't understand the power of the compounded effect. I use this example all the time. You don't go to the gym once and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You have to treat life in every and all aspects, whether it's money, business, relationships. You have to treat it like working out. You have to make it a consistent daily habit to get the consistent daily result. So talk about what you feel, because obviously now more than ever, health and wellness is huge. There are so many quote unquote fads out there. There's so many online trainers. There's so many resources where people can go a different direction. But what truly makes Tori Murphy different than other people out there that they may currently be working with or are seeking to connect with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first of all, a big piece of finding a coach that you really connect with is that it's kind of like when you buy a car insurance, you have to do your own homework and figure out which person is going to be the right fit for you, because a lot of trainers have a different approach and there's a very low barrier to entry in the industry. You can get a certification in 6 months and be a personal trainer. And, someone can say, well, I'm certified, like I can teach you how to do this. And I truly have an issue with that. And I didn't get, a university degree in, exercise science or anything, but I would argue that I have spent the equivalent amount of time researching and educating myself on evidence-based principles of training and nutrition. And I've spent a lot of money and time on continued education, which I think is a big gap between most personal trainers or most coaches you'll find on the internet and actual experts in the field. So something I would say that sets me apart is I'm very specific. I really care about specifics. There's a lot of, there's kind of a plug for coaches saying, oh, like I can help you lose weight without tracking any calories. And you don't even have to work out. And there's a lot of that to try and appeal to those people who are, again, afraid of the work and afraid of the self-discipline. And I think what sets me apart is I help people create that self-discipline in a way that is actually easy for them. And so, it doesn't have to be the hamster wheel of, trying to always eat healthy and always go to the gym. There are ways that you can make it so simple and fit your life like a puzzle piece and make it as easy as brushing your teeth in the morning, but we don't skim over the fact that it requires work. I actually am one of the only coaches that do not allow clients to train with me any less than 6 months, because I do not believe you can create lasting change in any time less than 6 months. And the only reason I actually offer a 6-month option is for people who have, budget restraints. And other than that, I encourage every single one of my clients to work with me for at least 1 year. And my testimonials and my results from my clients they speak so loudly to that. And all of my clients have seen such amazing results, and none of them have trained with me for less than 6 months. So I really believe in the power of honesty. I think that's something that is missing in the industry, especially because there is such a low barrier to entry. So many people are able to do it. But also it falls on the responsibility of the consumer and whoever is looking to work with a coach, or, and it could be anything. It could be a money coach, a business coach, a fitness coach. It's kind of the responsibility of the consumer to do their due diligence and make sure that who they're investing in and who they are trusting with their goals is going to take care of them. And so I have very, very hard, real conversations whenever I speak with clients about what their commitments are and what their expectations are, and also what my promise is to them. And I think that relationship is so huge. And I know you're a big person on human connection. And I just think that that mutual relationship, it's not a win-lose, it's a win-win. And we're there to support each other, and not in a cheerleader kind of way, but in a way that, we're here to support each other and actually get the job done, and knowing that there's going to be some uphill battles, but knowing that the return on investment is so huge at the end.
Yeah, for me, I turn clients away right now because, not because I don't have room for clients, but if I'm sensing some sort of energy from that person that they're the type of person that's going to put the blame on that person, and they're not self-aware, I can't work with that kind of person, because what I've learned in the service industry, whether it's what I do now or personal training, is that there's individuals out there that are looking to blame others instead of looking themselves in the mirror. And that's one of the big things that people need to do, is they need to take ownership for what they are or are not doing. And the fact is that you can invest any amount of money with any trainer, any coach, but what it comes down to is you following the directions and following the plan that that coach has for you. And I have people that ask me all the time this: am I guaranteed to succeed with what you teach?
Mm.
And I love that question, because my simple response is, I'm not responsible for your success. You're responsible for your success. I am responsible for teaching you how to create it. I said, what you do with what I teach, that's on you. And you're the one that's responsible for doing that. Because they're quick to say, well, is it guaranteed to work? Well, anything is going to work if you apply with what you're taught. So I love how you stated that, that's a commitment right there. 6 months, no less. And I agree. And if you're going to do something, if you're going to commit to your goals, whether it's health or wealth or both, that's not done overnight. That is going to take time. You're going to have to go through a process. And I think that's beautiful. So before we wind down to my final question, I know that you recently launched a new program, a new online program, this past January, a couple months ago. So let's talk about, how people can find out about that, and how people can connect with Tori Murphy on social to find out more about what you do and how you can assist them.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So we just launched the Fit Trials Academy, which is a group program. So it's a little more financially flexible for people who might not be ready for one-on-one coaching, or maybe they can't afford it right now. Or they're looking for that community piece and they want to connect and be friends with other people that are going through the same thing that they are. And currently we target women, but anyone, of course, is welcome. Anyone who has a goal and is willing to put in the work is so welcome. If you are looking to apply, we run the coaching every 6 months. So in January, we have just launched the first round, and in 6 months, we will open up a waitlist. The waitlist is actually open right now. You can go to www.thefittrials.com to learn more about that. But it's a great opportunity for you to, like I said, really create that self-discipline and be around other people who are also learning and creating those same disciplinary practices. And of course, the cherry on top, making sure that it is simple for you. This is not something that is going to be, a 3-month program. We hop on, a call a month. No, no, no. It is way more hands-on. We hop on a group call once a week. You have tons of resources and worksheets and little homework pieces that you can actually apply the things that you are learning. So often I see courses that, people will purchase and it'll sit on their desktop for months and months, and people will never actually apply those practices. And so there is an accountability piece to this program, and it is absolutely phenomenal. So if you are interested in that, go to www.thefittrials.com, or you can find me on Instagram. Just shoot me a message and we can connect there as well at The Fit Trials.
Awesome. So final question before we sign off. Tori, what does success truly mean to you?
Oh, that's a good one. I think success is determined by this might be a little abstract, but I think success is determined by the toolbox you create throughout your life. So the toolbox of skills, the toolbox of memories that you collect. I think you describe it as brain tattoos. I like to think of it as a toolbox. And I think the more skills you obtain, the more success you will have, because you have more ammunition, you have more ammo to put into your life and put your efforts towards. And I really believe in the power of learning. My dad actually said, I think when I was 9 years old, he was like, Tori, the one skill that you need to have is the ability to learn, and you can do anything. And other people translate this as resourcefulness, but I think actually resourcefulness is a skill that goes in that toolbox. So I think the way to success and the key to success is consistently putting together that toolbox and building a foundation of skills that you can use throughout your life.
I love that. Tori, thank you so much for joining me today. And for anyone in my audience that is really looking to take their health, their wealth, and just their personal life to the next level, I highly, highly suggest you connecting with Tori. All of her links will be in the description of this episode, so you guys will know exactly where to find her. So Tori, thank you so much for blessing me and my audience today with all of your knowledge, love, and skills in what you do.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that we connected, and I hope this episode provides value to your audience and they've learned something to add to their toolbox.
Absolutely. So guys, thank you again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review. I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.